Hi everyone. I didn't really want to make a video on the Santi devil situation, but here I am. I'm not going to be doing a in-depth case analysis at all. That other people have done that, and they've done it much better than me. So what I'm going to talk about is just everything on my head in relation to how we can heal as a community, what we can learn from this in the future, and how we can keep ourselves safe in the future, all of us as a community, to hopefully stop things like this from happening, because I'm so sick of watching big content creators get a platform and then use their platform to exploit their audience. The very brief summary for any of you who don't know what Santi Devil has done: he did a lot, what was it? He scammed artists by not paying. There was allegation about him grooming minors, which is the much important thing. I don't know why I didn't start with that, I'm sorry. Where he was dating a 16-year-old fan of his at 18 going on 19. And people defended that, I don't know how, but then it came out, of course, that he was actually dating at 18 and 19, 14 and 15-year-olds as well, which people cannot defend anymore because that's below the age of consent in Mexico. So, yeah, this guy is, again, a lot of these minors he was dating were his fans. He was also quite emotionally abusive and manipulative, threatening self-harm and suicide regularly. And he say a disgusting phrase in Spanish, but in English it is kind of like how you say like there is no age for love, you know? And it's just all in all disgusting, and I'm sure there's more allegation I'm forgetting to mention. It's just what's on my head now, but transphobia. Yeah, it's disgusting. It's awful. The entire situation is so disgusting with him, and I have some minor points in mind and some larger points. I want to start off by saying a lot of his victims were his fans. There were people that he was talking to in his server or privately or whatever else. They were fans of his that he was talking to. These were not random minors plucked off the streets. They were his own audience. My immediate point to say is that in the future, guys, all of us, for everyone, need to be more detached. And by that I mean you cannot be so close to your favorite content creator, you cannot be messaging them privately or anything like this. It's not normal. And this is something I say on my platform before. If you're having regular contact in private with your favorite content creator, that content creator, more likely than not, does not have your best intention in mind. It's weird. It's really weird. It's not normal to be having private conversations with your fan regularly, and it's not healthy for them to believe that that is a healthy form of communication. So, if you are being messaged by any content creator regularly in private like this, honest to God, my advice to you is run, because that's not safe. That's not safe. The chances of that content creator potentially having bad intention is a lot higher than that content creator just being, you know, good intention and naive. I don't believe it. Run. And So what is healthy communication then between content creator and fan? I need to address that because I can't just say private messages are not appropriate. So what is appropriate? Well, messaging in a public server, one, is a lot more appropriate than in private. Messaging in stream chat, in comments, again, it's a lot more safer if there are other people who can witness in on what you're saying to each other. The chances of an inappropriate bond forming then between you and the content creator to you is far smaller. Your communications are a lot more regulated, and if there is something weird, then people can step in to defend. Do you understand? It's for your safety, then, that these conversations need to be held in a space where someone else can look at that and can monitor it. And this is collective accountability, if you will, where we all hold each other to account. But that can't... It's a safe thing, but it can't work if there are people who are being messaged privately. So, all I can say is keep your communications with your favorite content creators publicly. Because it's much easier for people to protect you if things are getting inappropriate than it is when it's already, private and shut away. You understand? And that's just a comment more about parasocialism in its entirety. No, it's not safe for you to be... It's not safe for you to be having these communications and these friendships with content creators. Honest to God, content creators are just people that put videos on the internet, and whether you like their videos or not is one thing, but they should not be seeking out a friendship with their fans in these ways. And I say this as someone who has quite a close community, Yeah, we regularly talk a lot in Discord chats and stuff like that, but we do not overstep, generally. And I make sure I have clear boundaries as well to regulate the closeness in my community that I have with my fans. And that's something I do for their own safety, because while I know I would never do anything bad, it's still not safe for me to foster that kind of... it's not safe for me to foster that kind of connection, if you will, because I don't know who these people are engaging with in their own free time with other content creators, and while I know that I'm good, I cannot trust. Evidently, I cannot trust other content creators to also be good. So I hold myself to account so that I can let them know, hey, actually, this type of closeness can be really dangerous. I'm not going to have it with you because I don't want to encourage it, and I urge you that if anyone else is having it, please cut them off. They don't have your best intent in mind. And this is something I stand by. Very firmly. And that's on parasocialism, essentially. Just keep yourself distant. You cannot trust your favorite content creator, and your content creator should not be trusting you so easily. I mean... this might just be because I'm a very paranoid individual. This is an alternative stance as well to consider, but the thought of me getting super close to some of my fans in a best friends kind of way makes me scared, because what if I end that friendship and I get doxxed? Your favorite content creator should also be worrying about very similar things, so if they're too comfortable with you, they either have an extreme disregard for their own safety, or they don't have good intentions with you. That's all I can say. Because if they are fostering that kind of connection where it's really not appropriate, where it's really too close, where it's really starting to get personal, more likely than not, it's probably because they are trying to get close to you in ways that they really shouldn't, where they believe that the risk of trying is worth the quote-unquote reward of succeeding, which I think is a disgusting fucking thing. But this is a very honest conversation, and that's my honest belief. I'm sorry for repeating myself so much. This is not a scripted video. None of my videos talking about anything in the IDV community are scripted, and I'm gonna go in circles. The summary of that is just, please do not become best friends with your content creator and start having regular contact with them, because they don't know you and you don't know them. A lot of content creators have a persona online that you are not aware of, and you will genuinely engage with their content, maybe believing that that persona is actually them. It's not. So many content creators fake everything and anything. Their voice, their home, how you say it, their background, They will fake their name, they will fake, they might even fake a face reveal. There are so many things you don't know about your favorite content creator. You don't know what they do when they log off. You don't know them. You just don't know them. So please be cautious on that front. The next thing I want to talk about is the defenses that came in with Santi Devil, and this is actually part of a much larger issue, And I'm gonna put in my 2 pence as someone who has made grooming allegations against someone else before, and as someone who has been falsely accused, both at the same time, pretty much. I'm going to put in my 2 pence and say we as a community need to handle these situations far better. On both sides, there was an immediate issue of word of mouth. Too many people were making videos without actually looking at evidence. They were parroting off of what other people were saying. This led to an echo chamber of 2 sides, both without clear evidence or even just sitting and waiting for more evidence to come out first. We had the immediate side of Santi Devil is a pedophile and a groomer, and we had the immediate side of 3 years, 2 years isn't that bad. None of these sides are helpful to actually figuring out what Santi did further. And it might be because a lot of you guys are not familiar with these type of allegations and what generally comes after. But as someone who's been calling out child predator before, and has been dealing with child predator for a lot of my life, I did not make an immediate statement because I was waiting for other victims to come out. Generally, when you call out a child predator, other victims will follow. If there are other victims, long chain of grooming other victims, all it takes is one, and then the rest will start to come out one by one. And I was waiting for that, and it's something that I wish the rest of the community would have done as well, because now you've got a wave of people fighting over whether 3 years, 2 years is something that they should be worrying about, where I was sitting here worrying about what else could he have done that we just don't know yet. So I'm not saying that people need to wait to make videos. I think you can make videos about how you feel, but if you're making videos to inform on a situation that we don't even know fully yet, in this situation, we're so glad we got the information as quickly as we did, but I can imagine in the future going forward, we're going to have issues where if this type of behavior keeps going on, we're gonna have a lot of misinformation being spread about. We're gonna have a lot of videos that are going to stop people from actively engaging with this type of situation, which then puts them at risk of, being the victim of something like this because they're not informed. And I'm not saying this to, hate Santi defenders. Please don't take this as a hatred against you if you did initially defend him and change your mind after. This is not a hatred to you. All I'm trying to say is that we all, both sides, everyone needs to actually hold back a little and either make sure they know all of the evidence and everything involved before they start making their videos. You understand me? This is just on the basis of preventing misinformation and preventing, word of mouth, because this community is disgustingly notorious with past situations like geisha love of just following word of mouth, which leads to a much worse situation. We are lucky that more victims came out this quickly. We are lucky that the evidence against him stacked up really fucking fast. But we cannot guarantee this going forward in the future, so please be cautious. We need to be careful. We need to make sure that both sides look into the facts fully before not making an opinion. You can make your opinion immediately, but when you start to put out videos, those videos will influence other people. You understand me? Whether you get 100 views or 100,000 views, it doesn't matter. Your videos are going to influence people, and that by itself is dangerous if you are not fully informed. So please, before you start making your own videos on this type of situation, especially one this serious, please make sure you know everything. Please make sure you've looked at all of the evidence. Please make sure that you can actually reference the direct things he's said and done in private messages, because a lot of people who are making their videos, especially on platforms like TikTok, or a lot of people making their posts on Twitter, could not reference a single thing he had said. Please be careful when addressing these type of situations. At best, wait for someone else who is informed to do it. Someone else who is a trustworthy source in the community to come out with this type of information. And that's all I have to say on that front in terms of misinformation. Now, actually, let's talk about some of the defenses people were pulling for Santi. Not because I hate these people, but because some of these defenses, I want to give my personal stance. And I must be honest, my ideas in this segment are not really up for debate at all. There's nothing you can say that will change my mind. In my YouTube post, I said that I come from a country with lower age of consent, which is 16. What Santi Devil did initially, in his initial allegations involving the 16-year-old, would not have been illegal here. I went on to say that what he did was still weird. There's a point that I hope people can open their minds to the idea that sometimes culture can be the evil we fight. Culture can be beautiful, but even my own country has issues surrounding the normalization of huge age gaps and the harsh defense of minors who meet consent, in particular dating much older, mature adults while these minors themselves are not mature or don't finish college. What I'm trying to say is that culture can have its beauty and its ugly. Minor safety should never ever come second to defending culture. And that's my honest belief. A lot of people were saying that in Mexico, this is just how things are. I don't agree with that, personally. I don't think, as someone who is in a country with a similar situation where a lot of 16, 17-year-old girls end up getting with like middle 30s men because it's perfectly legal here for them to do that. And that's not on their own willing. A lot of these girls spend a lot of their childhood being groomed into that by their own, parents and fathers and such, This is a common thing where I am. Where they are brought up believing that it's normal to want to date older. These men are more mature, they will be better for you, they will take care of you. And then they end up in such dangerous situations, financial abuse, sexual abuse. Because of the cultural attitudes that surround sometimes a lower age of consent. And I know in Mexico it's not horrifically different. There are some culture in Mexico that are not horrifically different from the culture in my country. So the immediate defense saying, oh, it's just how things are in Mexico, this is just culture, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. I think that is really ignorant, as I said, to put culture above minor safety. In my personal opinion, if your culture is harming children, your culture probably isn't a very... I don't want to say a very good one, because I don't want to shit on culture, but if your culture is actively harming people, it's probably not a culture that should be practiced very regularly, or it should have more stricter guideline around it. And I'm not saying necessarily in my country that age of consent needs to be raised, but I would prefer, for example, education around consent to be taught a lot more, because that's something that we literally are never taught. That information comes from our family and parents, who obviously, some people's parents over here do not have good intentions for their children and set them up for failure. So, saying that culture is a defense, it's just how it is where he is and that's completely normal, is not a good defense to me, because again, minors and fucking children are being actively hurt by this shit that he's done. And if you're gonna look past that for the sake of protecting culture, then I think that makes you really sick. And there are other content creator mutuals who had similar opinion to me, who said, also in their own defense, that there are a lot of awful things that are part of culture, like child marriages or female genital mutilation. Are they defensible too? Absolutely not. Are they the same level? Possibly not. But if your culture allows for children to be close to adults in these ways, with absolutely no guidelines or restriction, then your culture is probably not a good one, because children are still going through puberty and a lot of adults have already finished. And yeah, the other thing I had to say was in relation to education. A lot of the young girls, and I say young girls a lot because it's not young men in my country that are really getting targeted by these type of behavior. It is young girls being groomed into it. It's not really young men being groomed into it nearly as much. That's why I say young girls here. Please don't take that as like misandry or anything like that. That's just literally how it is in my country. The issue is as well is that you're literally setting up, as I mentioned in my country, young girls for failure. There are far too many young girls in my country who fall pregnant during college to a much older man than I'm comfortable with, than anyone should be comfortable with. But the attitudes that people have here is because technically it's legal, there's no issue. A 16-year-old having a child by a man who is a decade older than her is not seen as an issue here. And that's my concern around the people as well who are saying, oh, it's fine, it's culture, it's technically legal by the age. It's not moral. I don't like that you guys can call it moral. It's not right. It's not okay. It's not ever gonna be okay, and it makes me really uncomfortable as someone who is in a country with these situations. Because it's not okay. It's not okay. The consequences that you're willing to just let children talk to adults, possibly leading to these huge issues like teen pregnancy, for example, or teen parenthood, is a really big concern to me that you're comfortable with that. Because it's, meeting the age of consent, therefore it's fine? No. No, it's not, and we need to do better to protect people. And again, that's just my 2 pence as someone who comes from a country with these type of issues. I think what else? I say, I'm not mad at Santi Devil supporter who initially support him. If you still support him, I'm a little more mad at you, but I'm not mad at the people that initially support him. It's natural to want to support people that we love and are connected to, but the issue is we should not be connecting to these people. And I'm not saying these people as in predators. You have no way of knowing that they're predators. But you need to, as I said earlier, detach in general from absolutely every content creator in this community. Because you can't trust them. You can't trust me. I know I would never do anything wrong. The issue is you guys don't know that. You didn't know that about Santi Devil. People didn't know that about Katsu Hearts. People didn't know that about every other predator or every other person who's done awful things in this community. For your own safety, please, for the love of God, detach from content creators. Please do not have these close friendships. Please do not hold them so highly. They are people online making videos or streaming or whatever else. That is all they are. That is all they ever will be. They are not gods walking amongst this earth. Do not kiss their feet. And I'm trying to think what else I have to say. I mean, it hurt me a little bit because I wasn't horrendously close to Santi, thank goodness, and I am not going to be close with him ever. I'm keeping far distance from him. What he has done is indefensible. And I keep saying indefensible. I want to say much more vulgar things, but I cannot. It wouldn't be appropriate or right for me to say the things that I actually want to say about this man. What he's done is disgusting. I've always said time and time again, I'm gonna stand up for the vulnerable members in my community and in the wider IDV community. Children are one of the most forefront that I it's not active for, I don't know what the word is. Yeah, protecting children is one of my biggest beliefs when it comes to advocating for members of the community. Because children cannot stand up for themselves. I stand up as well for other vulnerable members too, but unlike children, there are female content creators in the IDV community who are able to stand up for themselves. They have a platform, they have a voice. Will I still stand for them as well? Of course I will. But, they have that ability. There are plenty of queer members of the community who also have platform and can stand up for themselves. Children can't. Irregardless of if a child has a platform or not, they are still vulnerable. And they do need that defense. And that's where I step in and I try to safeguard as much as I can. What Santi Devil did is immoral. It's a horrible thing to call it immoral because it has victims. And morals should never ever have victims. But it's a thing we can learn from. I feel awful for saying that because this community has problems. This issue, this actual fucking crime he commit right under everyone's nose should not be attributed to being immoral. There is so much more to it than that, and I cannot put the words out properly that I want to say exactly what I want to say. But I hope you will understand what I mean. I'm sorry. I'm really, really sorry. Allegations surrounding grooming kids will never just be a form of ragebait. It should always be investigated seriously, and this is something I have a wider gripe with the rest of the community with. And it is, unfortunately, bringing the topic back to ragebait. You guys really need to stop using ragebait as your punchline in every video. And by that I mean, like, stop making videos saying that this content creator groomed me, this content creator raped me, this content creator assaulted me, this content creator did this content creator did that. You are making it so hard to actually respond to these situations seriously. And I feel like as well there was a unanimous lack of seriousness in the responses that people were having to this situation online. There were too many people who were happy that Santi Devil's getting cancelled for texting minors. Why are you not upset that he was texting minors in the first place? Why are you cheering that there are victims to this disgusting man? Because indirectly that's what you're doing. It is disgusting. And it's so bad for the victims that they might be seeing your fucking posts cheering about, thank God Santi Devil was a groomer. I never liked him. That's so demoralizing. To attribute their experiences to grooming as your fucking happiness. That's disgusting. That is so disgusting. And other similar posts like this, like I've literally seen ones that are saying, I hope they get Hikaru next. I don't know what your gripe is with Hikaru. I'm not involved with that man. Maybe he did stuff, maybe he didn't, I don't know. But you know what I wouldn't be fucking doing? I wouldn't be taking, again, the experiences of victims and using it to stir more drama. It's not even drama. What this man has committed is a fucking crime, and you guys are treating it like a little high school gossip day. And that's one of the most sickening things to come out of this situation, is how immature you guys are. Minors have been messaged by this man inappropriately. They have been threatened with self-harm and suicide by this man. Why are you guys treating it like some high school gossip day? I don't get it. Why are you guys not able to be serious at all? And I mean this more on other platforms. YouTube, thankfully, on YouTube, from what I can gather, a lot of people take this a lot more seriously. I go on Twitter. I go on TikTok. You guys are fucking laughing about it. There's nothing funny about children being groomed. I'm so sorry if that upsets you, and I'm so sorry if that's a hot take. There's nothing funny about it. Please stop laughing about it. Please stop making it the punchline of your fucking videos. And please, for the love of God, as I said, stop making videos with no evidence or anything saying that this content creator, this person, this and that are grooming you. If they are completely false claims, all you are doing is adding to the plethora of misinformation out there. We don't need any more. This community, as I said earlier, already has a huge problem with trusting word of mouth. Why would you actively impede our ability to investigate on these things by putting out information that isn't fucking true, one, or two, is purely for engagement. I don't get it. I think you guys doing that are fucking disgusting, and I've blocked a lot of you. Because this situation is far too serious. If you want to make Ragebait, go ahead, do it. But do not take situations that are this fucking serious, for the love of God. There are better things to do on this fucking planet. There are more useful things you could be doing to the rest of fucking society than making a video talking about how Z's is next. Based on no evidence provided, just some fucking gut feeling out of nowhere. And maybe that gut feeling might be right, and if it is, by love of God, I will apologize sincerely for an hour. I will literally apologize on camera if that fucking happens. If Z's is next, I will apologize. But I don't think he is. And I think you guys are plucking stuff out of nowhere. And I don't like it. Again, as I said, we don't need more misinformation. This community already is awful with handling serious situations, and you guys prove that every single time. And it comes back to the point I said, let people who are actually going to care to look into these further make their videos before you guys make your own. If you're not gonna look into everything, every bit of evidence, every statement, honest to God, just wait for someone else who has done that to do theirs first, watch theirs, and then make your own. That is far better than making your own because, oh, this topic's hot and fresh and it's gonna get me clicks. No. For the love of God, you're making this so much harder than it needs to be. I think that's all I've really got to say. What this man did is disgusting. I don't like him. I don't like child predators, I don't like child groomers. This is a common thing that's been on my platform. And I'm not afraid to speak out against it. I have literally called out my own fan before for grooming kids. There is no consequence to me that I think you could punish me with for doing this. I would still be doing it the next day. Even if you threaten to take all 4 of my limbs away, I will still be talking about child predators. They're awful and I hate them. But I hope that opening this conversation might help us all to unanimously come to a point of agreement that we, as a community, do not handle groomer situations well at all. Many of them still have platforms. Many of them will continue to have platforms and views. The unfortunate thing is, I think that a lot of these views that these people, disgusting creatures, get comes from people who think like them and do likewise things. I don't think it is genuinely sane people who are still watching these groomers. I think, to an extent, it'll be young fans who genuinely don't know better or refuse to believe that any wrongdoing has been done. But I think a larger portion of it will be like-minded individuals who are equally as scummy and disgusting. And please stop saying that what Santi did was not grooming. It absolutely was. If it's not for the age gaps alone, then it's for the fact that he's a content creator speaking to his fans in these ways. That is grooming in itself. There is a power imbalance in age, there's a power imbalance in content creator to fan. Whether you like that or not, that exists, and that's part of the reason you cannot be getting so close to your favorite content creator. There's an influence there from your favorite content creator that is so dangerous if that content creator is not being responsible and trustworthy. So, keep yourself safe. Please stop blaming the fucking victims. But also, don't let this situation put you down entirely. I want us to all look forward and reflect, but I also don't want us to be feeling worthless. We are not worthless. It's okay. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to feel hurt. What this man has done is disgusting, and I am so sorry that he took advantage of everyone in these ways. He took advantage of people's trust. People sent this man money. They sent him gifts. He took advantage of his fans. He was texting them inappropriately. He was, saying awful fucking shit to them. He took advantage of other content creators who trusted him. And to everyone who looked up to him, I'm really sorry. I'm really, really sorry that he took advantage of everyone in these ways, and I hope that in the future you don't let this break your spirit. The actions of one man should not fall on everyone else, and this is not a burden that the rest of us should have to shoulder. We need to reflect on what has happened and come up with a better plan for the future, but ultimately we will also need to learn to move on as well. And I don't mean forget. Do not forget this happened. I want everyone to remember that this has happened, but I want everyone to keep it in mind, not because it is something that we should frown upon, but because it's something we should learn from, if that makes sense. Like, it's an awful thing he's done, but I don't want it to be a super upsetting thing for absolutely everyone all of the time. You understand me? What he's done is disgusting. There is no defense. I'm not saying it's a good thing it happened. It's absolutely awful. It should have never happened. This awful, awful experience, we can repurpose it to learn for next time to better protect people in this community. Put out better information, more accurate information about these situations as and when they happen. Put out better information regarding minor safety. Keep a closer eye out in the community for vulnerable individuals, and keep a closer eye on some of our most beloved content creators to make sure they are acting in line. These are what I would call for in terms of actions. I know that I can hold myself to account. I cannot say that anyone else can, and no one else should be able to say with certainty that they can hold me to account to be responsible. As I stated earlier, we don't know each other, unfortunately. And that level of distrust should be handled in a much more serious manner than it is now. I will have my own video about parasocialism in my own community because my community oversteps quite a bit soon. That will be done soon. But I hope that this video can put some people's minds at ease. It's not okay what has happened here, and I hope that we can all learn for the better. To learn to never let this happen again, or to be better ready to act when it does. But until then, I hope everyone will stay safe, and thank you for making it this far. Goodbye, everyone.